Hey, good afternoon, ladies. All right, I'm just sitting here jamming because this is how I get my head where I need it to be. Hang on, let me turn off my music here. Clean version, of course. Busta Rhymes, big fan, big fan. How you doing out there? I hope you are doing amazingly well. No, let me say that again. I know you all are doing well out there. It's Friday. And today I wanted to finish up this 2-day masterclass, and I thought about it. I said, you know what, with the amount of stuff I want to cover, it's going to take way more than 2 days. But anyway, I've been getting some really good feedback from day one, so I'm glad you all are enjoying it. And again, the replay is up. It's a pinned post. It'll be there for a few more hours, then I'll go ahead and put this one up for you to enjoy. So if you are out there, give me some hearts and let me know you are there. Again, Facebook likes to play games with me and not let me know when people have joined me. So go ahead. We've got a lot to cover today. And for those of you that's going to enjoy this on the replay, do send me your hearts, give me your comments, because I thoroughly enjoy it. I read every single one of them. It gives me feedback on how I can better serve you and support your dreams of having an incredible life that you can be totally excited about, totally lit up about. You know, I was looking at the replay yesterday and I was like, you know, I have to do this during the day because yesterday was one of those days where, I was serving. I had some client calls yesterday and, I had them early in the day, and it takes energy to support and do this kind of work. And so deciding to have this masterclass in the evening, I thought maybe, I'd support those who were working and couldn't be available during the day. But I found that, although I put a lot of time in figuring out what's ideal for me and my schedule, and I'll talk about that today and how important that is, I realized with this effort to come together and really deliver this information to you all takes even more energy. So I've got to make sure I'm re-energized and supported. And that's part of what I want to share with you all today. Part of being a clear and confident woman is knowing what works for you and what doesn't. And what I like to help people understand is the value of having the ideal schedule. Everyone's unique, and I don't know that there's I avoid the idea of this cookie cutter approach to doing business, especially when the whole focus is to do something that you love, something that excites you. So for those of us that have come out of the corporate setting and are used to being told what to do and wearing closed-toed shoes, the idea of stepping into a business that mimics a job just isn't exciting. I don't know about you, but it certainly didn't excite me. And so what I love to do is help people get clear on what is the ideal business model for them. What does the ideal day, week, schedule look like for them? Everyone's different. Everyone's got a unique personality and a unique way of showing up in the world. Some people are day people, morning people, night people. It just depends. And so the activities that are necessary doesn't necessarily change, but it's like when you do them, that's the focus. So I see someone has showed up. I cannot see. I'm unable to see who you are. So definitely give me a heart so I can at least get a snapshot of you so I know who you are, or put a comment there so that I can see you. A big hello to you, whoever you are, and those of you that will be joining us later on, big hello. I'm going to dive right in. So yesterday, you have an opportunity to look at it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on, but we really did some deep diving on what it's going to take for you to quit your day job and really build your business. Okay, so we talked about having to understanding how to know the number one thing. Hey, sweetie, is that Karen? Hello. The number one thing you must know for sure in order to create anything. Hi, Chevy. Thank you for showing up. Good to see you. We also talked about the 3 mistakes that I am personally observing that service providers are making that's keep them playing small. And so the idea is we want to expand, we want to grow. I am all about expanding and growing and touching the world and bringing your gifts to the world where you can create a situation for them where their life improves, where their life expands, and yours does too, because number 1, you become fulfilled. Number 2, you get some income, and number 3, you get to bring your message out even more. So we went over the 3 mistakes. So if you missed that, I urge you to go back to that power packed information that will help you to move forward when you choose to honor these mistakes and decide not to make those yourself. The other thing we talked about yesterday is what you are doing that's subconsciously feeding the overwhelm and how you can shift that into order. Now, I'm going to move ahead and respect everyone's time today, but I encourage you, do look at that video. If you didn't get a chance to see it, I will be taking it down by Saturday. So definitely make sure you take advantage of that. And of course, we talked about what we focus on. It does expand. And what we focus on, we actually give our power to. And what we put our attention to, we actually become. So these are key things. So I'm going to say it again because it's critical in business building and in doing life. If you're outside, if the fruit of your life is unlike what you'd like it to be, then you must start from the inside. Your growth, your expansion, your improvement, your high level of confidence, your high level of clarity is coming from the inside. So, I'll never forget when I was driving in my car. This is when I was still working as a consultant, and I was knee deep in traffic. And I was listening to, my motivational stuff like I do every single day. I had something on Audible, and I was listening to this guy named Jim Rohn, and I love Jim Rohn, Jimrohn. If you all ever get a chance to listen to him, please choose to listen to some of his stuff. He's amazing. He's gone now, but I still listen to his work. And he just made a simple statement. He said, if you don't like your address, then change it. Now, for me, you have to understand my story. My thinking at that time was, I'm not going to be able to afford the place that I really want. I won't be able to get my dream home. I suck at money and all this stuff that I was saying to myself. And it became, my truth. It was what I was living out. I was in a rental. I have nothing against it, but I personally enjoy real estate. I personally enjoy owning real estate. And I so desperately wanted to have one, but I lived in this space of victimization. And, when you hope and pray, when you live like that, that is defeated living. And I had to get into the living of making a decision and then choosing. And so when he said those words on the Audible, it just snapped me. It just snapped me. And it was like, yeah, he's right. Why am I sitting here living in this state of not having, in this state of lack, in this state of victimization, when literally I have no idea if I'll qualify. I haven't even made any phone calls. I didn't even pursue it. And the moment he said that, that's what I needed to hear at that moment. And I made a decision right then and there. I got on the phone that very day, that very morning, talked with my husband. We went out to look at builders. I knew builders that I liked. And boom, by the end of that week, we saw a home plan that we liked. My husband picked a location and boom, we put a down payment. The rest is history. We built our home. We now live in that home over a year now. But the thing about it is I was running around for literally 3 years, folks, 3 years, believing that, my mishaps of the past or my lessons of the past were going to bite me and keep me from moving forward. And so I believe that this is something that we have to really inspect. What is it that we truly choose to believe? What story do we choose to believe? Understand that we are powerful. You are a powerful creator. And you get to choose at any given moment what your life looks like. We have today. Yesterday is gone. We have today. Tomorrow is not here yet. So we literally get to enjoy the present if we choose to. At the same time, we get to create a new future if we choose to. And so the work that I went over with you yesterday will give you some clearer understanding of what that would look like for you. How many of you did the homework? If any of you did the homework, let me know. Give me comments, give me hearts, because the homework was, I wanted you to actively avoid using a few words. And the words were not, as in do not, should not, could not, the word not. And couldn't, that also applies. So you couldn't use the word not, avoid the word not. And then the word try, because try is vague, try is ambiguous at best. And try, God doesn't understand try. Either you're going to choose to do something or you're going to choose not to do something. And so if you attempted to have sentences and conversations without using those words, you'll start to see how much those words are in our common language and how we speak defeat to ourselves. And so just avoiding those words, you start to elevate your language and begin the serious co-creation and instant manifestation of things happening in your life. And so it's vital, ladies, that we take a look at what we desire, we talked about yesterday, but also how we can co-create those desires coming to pass by way of our language. This hope and pray way of doing things that I see people doing is a defeated victim way of thinking and doing. And you can hope and pray till the cows come home and cows are flying, but at the end of the day, if you have a piece of lack or a sense that things will not come to pass for you, then guess what? You'll have a hard time having things come to pass because your faith is not aligned with your prayers. Okay? So today I want to talk about getting into how to know exactly what to focus on to get the results you want. So a couple things we're going to cover because this is what I promised you and I certainly aim to deliver. How to know exactly what to focus on to get the results that you want. That's what we're going to focus on today. We're also going to talk about how to get those desires out of you and into the marketplace. Out of you and into the marketplace. And then how to create content well in advance so that you know what to share in your marketing. Now, let's go back to how to know exactly what to focus on to get the results you truly want. You see, my intention for this class is for you all to get a sense of what has been keeping you from what you want to accomplish. Because here's the thing. We can sit around and lament over, the money that we choose to make, or look at and compare ourselves to the money that someone else is making, and we can get caught up in all the bells and whistles. But at the very end of the day, making money is very simple. You have your plan, you have the structure that you're going to execute this plan in, and then you show up and work the plan. Then you make money. That's it in simplicity. The challenge that we have is at every given step, we have this high level of vague, we have this not sure, we have this questioning, we have this, this person's doing it better than me, and we're comparing ourselves. And so when we give way to all of these things, these are the things that keep us from moving forward and creating the life, creating the income, and creating the impact that we choose to make. So here's the thing. When you become clear, this is what I've seen happen to people that I've worked with. This is what's happened to me personally. And you may have noticed you're going to see even higher levels of these in myself now because I'm really stepping up my level of clarity. And of course, as I learn, I do share. And so this is what happens when you become more clear. It not only impacts your business, but also impacts the rest of your life. And this is why I love to call this group, all lit up. Because if you are lit up about life, high energy, loving what you do, people gravitate to that. So if you're in a relationship and you have relationship woes, people gravitate to that. If you're in your business and you're building your business, clients gravitate to that. If you have a health concern and you're clear on what it is that you're going to be doing, you've cleared yourself emotionally, psychologically, you know what you want to create for yourself, then your health, your well-being starts to show up. So this is something that clarity is something that we all require to really function at a higher level. So you can almost call this more like high performance training. So this is what happens when you have a higher level of clarity. Number one, you become unapologetic for what it is that you truly desire. You become unapologetic for being yourself. Yesterday we learned about what desires are. Desires are like a lamppost to what God is seeking to express from inside of you. And so you become unapologetic for what it is that you desire, i.e. how God is choosing to show up through you. You become able to define what your desire is. You become clear on what your next step in life is, and you lose the vague way of doing life. You lose this sense of victimization when it comes to making decisions. You become clear. You begin to own your worth. You begin to own your worth, and you start to be okay with recognizing the value you bring in the marketplace, and also being able to charge for that value, and then being able to get it. So you start to own it, and when you own it, your clients own it as well. And for those of you that are on, more interested in just becoming lit up about your life, your partners, people you're in relationship with, begin to own your worth too, because you understand how to create the boundaries necessary for you to show up beautifully and be supported. You get to show people how to treat you. We get to do that. And so being clear allows you to identify those boundaries, own them, and share them and express them. You get to create a business model that supports you and doesn't stress you. So you get to be able to define what works for you and not necessarily what works for all the gurus. Because here's the thing about being in business. Let's talk about business. The thing about being in business, it requires your authenticity. People know when you're being inauthentic and when you're mimicking someone else. People know when you're being authentic. So those of you that are watching me now, you all get my energy. You all get that this is me. You all get the jewelry is me, the earrings me, my hair, the locks, this is all me. If I was to have a wig on, if I was to change my voice and bring an accent, if I was to minimize myself and not wear jewelry, or maybe not even wear nail polish, then you wouldn't be getting me. And it would be difficult to be in a coaching relationship with me, let alone a friendship or any other type of relationship, because I'm not bringing myself. And so when you're clear, you operate at a higher level of self-acceptance and self-worth when you're clear. Because you get that at the end of the day, what really matters is, when it comes to being in your business and serving your clients, what really matters is, did I show up for my clients fully? Did I support them beautifully? And did they walk away with what they came there for? And if they didn't, was it something that I can improve? Because I'm not responsible for how they use the information that I share. But at the same time, I have a healthy understanding of who I am and what my role is in my relationship with my client or with anyone else. You see, you lose the codependency. You lose the need for someone else to be happy before you can be happy. This is what a high level of clarity will do for you. You have clear, and you also have confident communication. So your yes is yes. Your no is no. You operate and speak from a more empowered place, and you're able to manage your energy because you understand who you want to spend your time with and who you choose not to spend your time with, because you recognize that you're always in choice. This is what a higher level of clarity will do for you. Do you see how this is something that impacts your business as well as other aspects of your life? This is all about how the woman, how I am showing up in the world, and less than what's my target market. The reason, we're not clear in our target market is because we're not clear in ourselves. I learned that firsthand. The reason why signing up for programs and doing all the modules and everything, and still, being unclear when you asked the questions, you did the research, and you're still unclear, it is because you are unclear of who you are. You are unclear of your desires. You are unclear. You lack clarity in where you are headed and who you are here to serve. At a very deep level, clarity comes. Your target market comes. The definition of your packages, they all come from a place of knowing you. This is what a high level of clarity will give you. It will give you focus on the correct activities at any given time in your life and in your business, because you would have developed the rituals to accessing what is appropriate for you in the moment. This is where we get to say bye-bye to overwhelm, and we get to stand firm in what is important. Not what's the priority. What is important. When you begin to learn to focus on what is important to you, your priorities become so much easier. The management of your time becomes so much easier. You know, because people have a way of imposing on us their priorities, and somehow their priorities become our priorities. And what I am saying is, when you are a woman that's clear, when you are a woman that's confident, you understand that you get to choose what's important to you. You get to choose how you spend your time. So with that in mind, let's talk about how to know exactly what to focus on to get the results that you want. First of all, yesterday we talked about desires. We talked about it being really God leading us and showing us which way we're going to go, because we've been so conditioned to ignore our urgings, ignore what it is that we truly want to experience in life, that we somehow take on the life that someone else, you know, prescribed for us, whether it be teachers, parents, doctors, whatever the case may be, people that were in authority over us who meant well, explained to us, this is how you do life. And we get older and we realize, I'm not happy, I'm unsatisfied, I'm unfulfilled. This is why, because you are on a track that someone else predisposed for you. So waking up to the understanding that the small urgings you had when you were 8, the tiny inklings of interest in that beautiful home, the remote possibility maybe somehow you can afford that beautiful dress, those are clues to what you truly desire. And I find that the more I allowed myself to start to explore my desires, the more I was able to more readily step into the woman I'm continuing to become. I love the finer things of life. I love luxury. I love real estate. I love being in beautiful spaces. I love beautiful pictures. I love a sense of world travel. And I now allow myself to enjoy those things. I now allow myself to have a waterfall, a fountain in my office. These are the finer things in life that I realized that I craved at a very deep level. And guess what? When I decided that it was okay for me to have those things, the logical side of me would not allow it because it's too expensive, you have to save, the dialogue that we have. But I found that a more joyous, more fulfilled person was on the other side of that logic. And so how do you know what to focus on to get the results that you want? You focus on what your desire is in the moment, what lights you up to actually get there. If your desire in business is to make 10K, what activities can you do that's joyful for you? So an example of that would be, it isn't joyful for me to show up on Facebook every single day, 10 days in a row, to grow my business. It is extremely joyful for me to show up in my small group and have conversations like this. This excites me. It is extremely joyful for me to hop on the phone with someone that I know would value me, value the service I provide, and would show up for coaching calls if we were to get into a coaching relationship. That lights me up. It lights me up to do live events and to go out and to speak. And so by creating the business around what lights me up, number one, keeps me energized, keeps me healthy, keeps me joyful, also keeps me on track because I can be consistent doing the things that I love. What takes away my joy, what takes away my energy is getting stuck with all the technical stuff and all the lead pages and the call to actions and the opt-ins and all that stuff. Don't care for it. So I hire someone to help me with those things. Okay? So you focus on what is that you desire. You define the goal that you want to get to, and then your desires will lead you there because you're going to do those desires more consistently. And you begin to build whatever it is that you're building along your desires. And you'll find that as you take steps towards that, different things will start to light you up because now you're awakening that person that was dormant. So this is truly a process of learning what you like and what you can have someone else to do. So make it a point to stay in your strength zone. I'm not about strengthening your weaknesses and all of that. If the most I can be is a 5 in an area on a scale of 1 to 10, then I'm going to focus on the areas where the most I can be is a 10, and right now I'm an 8. I'm going to grow myself from an 8 to a 10. And where I'm a 5, I'm going to ask someone else to do that for me. Okay? So we got to get away from this independent, I can do it all by myself kind of way of thinking and training, because that just drains you, blows your adrenals out, makes you sick, and makes you broke. Okay? Now, another thing I want to share with you is when it comes to focusing on getting the results that you want, you also want to avoid dwelling on and focusing on the imperfections of yourself and others. Now, this is a mind thing. I'm helping you understand. This is more like a mental training. As you're moving forward and trying to get going, the affairs of life will come up. You'll have this bill, you have this concern, this kid will need something, whatever. And depending upon your situation, it may trigger you and cause you to want to dwell on things that are without your control, i.e. someone else's imperfections or how someone else shows up. So because you don't control that, you get to choose to focus on something else. And I like to tell people, thoughts don't live in your mind rent-free. There's a cost, there's a price that thoughts pay. And your business either benefits or suffers. Your life either benefits or suffers. So at any given moment, you get to choose and decide what thoughts you allow to stay in your mind. Now, how to get that great desire out of you into the marketplace. I just went over that a little bit. I want to go over it a little bit more deeply. This includes very deep inner exploration. As I said earlier in this broadcast, your outer world is a reflection of what's inside. And biblically, the word says you'll know them by their fruit. So if you look at your outer world, your home, where you live, your space, your room where you work in, your relationship, your children, your income, how you get your income. When you look at all that, your health, your well-being, when you look at all of that, that's on the outside. It literally is a byproduct of what is going on the inside. I like to tell people when disease shows up, that means that you have been emotionally off for a while, because it takes a moment for the body to figure out that you're in this disease. It's been a chronic situation. And so if your outside doesn't look good, something is chronically going on internally. But the great news is you get to decide. You get to choose that. You get to choose to change that. And so you are always empowered to the level that you will allow yourself to be. Just remember that. You will always be empowered to the level that you allow yourself to be. So definitely stay in choice and stay in firm decision. So to get the desires out into the marketplace requires not only a deep inner exploration, but a process of what I referenced yesterday, what I call unpacking and packing. You unpack the old stuff, the old junk, the old way, and you start to take on the new way. The person you are today, you are here because of your decisions. You are here because of your thoughts and your beliefs. This person, this way of thinking is not equipped or is unequipped to take you into the future. To take you into the future to experience the life you want to create, that you're looking to create, that you choose to create, is a whole new way of thinking, whole new way of being. The person that I am today is so unlike the person that I was just a few years ago. So the person that I am today allows me to work from home, allows me to live in a beautiful home, allows me to have great relationships and touch lives all over the world, allows me to experience what I've always wanted to experience, because my thinking is different. My actions are different. What I choose to focus on is way different. And I am also stepping it up so that the person that I crave to be in the future, I begin to be that person, and what I'm looking to show up will start to show up. Okay? So now, how to create the content that you want to create. Now, for those of you that are in your business and looking for some more nuts and bolts, this is the nuts and bolts. Now, I have a secret weapon, and my secret weapon to how to create content well in advance so that you know what you're sharing in your market is, of course, a level of clarity. Then I have what's called a mind map. And so give me some hearts. I think I just saw someone else show up. Just give me some hearts. I love the hearts. I'm going to show you a mind map. And, it's a really neat tool. And when one of my mentors told me about this, it's like a whole new world opened up for me, in terms of getting content and really being able to serve and also plan out your business. So I'm going to show you what mine looks like. Okay, this is my mind map. And at the very center of the mind map is my subject area. So mine is clarity. And so what happens is you start to think about, well, what would be some of the things that, my girl would want to learn around clarity? And so, maybe some of the questions. So I have things like target market. And from target market, the question that the person may have, well, who's my ideal client? What's my message look like? So I can, work on that. Another thing around clarity is confidence. And then I have money blocks and also how to market myself. So content creation. So this is an example of my money map. My mind map. This actually is my mind map. And I've got it, of course, scanned and all neat and everything. But this is the written version in my classic signature purple ink. And I invite you to create one for yourself. So begin to brainstorm on what it is, the questions that your customers, your clients are asking, and start to think about how you can chunk the information, and so you can provide it to them in a way that's organized and also supports you in your business. So I hope that helps you. That was a major nugget right there. So let's go back to, by definition, what I mean when I use the word clarity. I said this yesterday, but I believe it's worth repeating. So clarity is, and we're talking about a very high level of clarity. That's when your inner dialogue, your inner conversation is in support and very supportive of your growth, and is also specific to your growth, specific and defined on a continual basis. When you're operating like that, you are well on your way to having some serious clarity, therefore major results in your life and in your business. Let's talk about what a high level of confidence looks like, because a high level of confidence is actually a byproduct of having clarity. This puffed upness that we see people walk around in, that's just a mask. And we're all so good at wearing the mask. Everything is good when everything is not. What I'm sharing with you and what I coach people into is having authentic confidence, because that comes from having a high level of trustworthiness in yourself. This is where you get to create those unique boundaries I was talking about earlier on. This is where you get to share with the world how to treat you. This is where you get to show up beautifully, elegantly, and confidently, because you know who you are and you have a deeper understanding of your sense of self. So when you operate in a high level of clarity and your inner dialogue is supportive of your growth, confidence is a natural byproduct of that. So another result of having the high level of clarity is now you get to have that confidence, but then you're open to a unique strategy just for you. See, this is where you can separate yourself from doing it the way everyone else does it and really being open to you and what's possible for you and what lights you up and what's exciting to you about your business and what's available to you for today. This is how, when you learn to operate your life and orient yourself from a place of being inside versus outside, a whole new beautiful world begins to open up, and clients are drawn to that. Clients are drawn to that. Men are drawn to that. Your children respond to that. Your boss, if you're still working, your coworkers, people respond to a woman that operates at a high level of clarity and a high level of confidence. They may be a little afraid of it because it's a different type of energy, but at least they understand that they're not going to just impose their agendas on you. They're going to treat you in a way that you demand to be treated. And when I say demand, I'm describing a woman, not a little girl jumping up and down. I'm describing a woman who understands herself, a high sense of self. So this is where you get to raise your price points, because you understand your value and you are super clear on what it is that you offer. So I hope that resonates with you. So again, today we learned about how to know exactly what to focus on to get the results that you truly want. We talked about how to get the desire out of you and into the marketplace, and how to create your content using the mind map. Now, there are many tools that I have, and this is an opportunity for me to share with you an invitation. If this resonates with you, if you enjoyed these 2 days that we talked, I certainly enjoyed you. I'd love your comments. Give me your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Those of you that are enjoying this on a replay, definitely give me your comments and give me your hearts, because I look at every single word. If you've got notes, leave your notes in the comments as well. And then for those of you that are really ready for a higher level of clarity in your life, then I'm going to invite you to hop on the phone with me so that you and I can discuss a coaching opportunity, because I like to coach women who are ready to take a stand for themselves and show up beautifully in the world and get out of this overwhelm, get out of this not knowing, get out of this fog and this vague living, and really get into a sense of higher clarity, knowing what it is that you want to do in life. At least you're open to learning what that looks like for you. And at the same time, if you're in business, learning what it's going to take to get the clients you want at the rate that you want, and create that beautiful business. I'm all about being in alignment and lit up about what you do, and no sense in trying to force yourself into doing something that is not for you to do. So if you're interested in talking with me, I'm going to leave a link at the top of this video for you to click on a link, schedule your time with me so we could talk about programs that I have that will help you to get to, getting clear in your target market, getting clear on your packaging, or just getting clear on what's next for you, perhaps an exit strategy out of your current position into what it is that you truly want to have in life. We can talk about that. All right. I hope you enjoyed this. Well, I know that you did. Go ahead and leave me your comments. Click on the link to schedule your appointment, and I will see you again. Take care. Have an amazing weekend. Blessings to you.